And welcome to CVTV, where school is always cool. And we talk about topics of the day. Sometimes they are within classes. Sometimes they have to do with various activities in our school. And today, seated to my right, are Jacob Brandt and Coach Jeremy Brandt. Jacob is a junior, and we had our second boys game of the year last night right here at CV. And while we're at it, we hope to possibly get maybe a little bit of a winter preview of what Coach Brandt and all of the coaching staff and players expect from this upcoming season, and maybe talk a little bit about the game last night. So we'll start with Mr. Brandt first. Mr. Brandt, in terms of all that has been done here in our recent history, especially, I guess one would have to think about 2017, 2018, I guess I would call it some of the miraculous achievements here, and a tradition that has gone forward. What do you see for the upcoming season?
Well, I'm excited about the upcoming season. The boys have started well. They've played hard. They're a competitive, good group of boys to coach, and you can see early on that they've gelled well together. They're a group that gets along well on and off the court, and that's very important. So, to compare them to our teams of the past are super premature. As you said, the 17, 18, those teams were fantastic teams, and this team has miles to go. One simple goal for this crew is just to continue to improve as the year goes along, with the idea that when we get to March in the region tournament, we're a contender, and we're one of the teams that are capable of putting 3 games together and moving on to the next step. But lots of work in order for that to happen, and the competition of the region is always so stiff. There's great teams all around us, so our work will be cut out to make that happen for sure.
Is it fair to say that in modern times, the last several decades, would you agree that Region 2, possibly the toughest region to come out of in terms of competition, but yet always seems to frequently advance a team to the state tournament?
I think that's fair. If you look at the last 20 years, the teams that have competed in the state tournament from Region 2 have typically finished in the night bracket to finish in the top 4, and very often have won the tournament itself. So there's no doubt that Region 2 is as good as any in the state, and I would think a lot of people in this area would probably agree it's maybe the best region in the state.
Yes, and I've heard this, having taught in this area, a lot of the small schools in a 50-mile radius, going back to the 90s, of course, brings to mind the great Mayport CG dynasties. They had quite a run. Thompson has had a lot of success. Grafton is always a contender. And of course, Hillsborough Central Valley has been hanging around and always in the mix. In terms of the game last night, we'll turn our attention to that just a little bit, since we have Jacob here, who is eager to, I'm sure, share some comments. Hatton Northwood, possibly still in a rebuilding phase, it might have appeared, at least from my vantage point. What were your thoughts about the game, Jacob?
As we said, it doesn't matter who you play. You always got to go out and play hard. That's what we said. Huddles in the locker room before a pregame. After those 8 days off, we had to get back into a groove because we got more games coming up here soon.
Yes, indeed. And what do you see in the short term here in terms of teams that you really have to get prepared for?
So the other night, watched a little bit, went to Thompson to watch them and North Border play, and those are 2 good teams that we're going to have to be ready for. Thompson looks really good. North Border looks good. So
yes, North Border has had a pretty good run of athletes up there in the last few years. Very good. Any outstanding memories of the game last night? I know you had a 1 breakaway dunk that brought the crowd to a roar. and that must have felt exhilarating for you.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's always nice to get out, get a little dunk, get on the rim,
Yes.
and it's just good energy, get the crowd going. It was a little quieter game, make our own energy. And I think that was a good play to really get us going, and we're playing well in the first quarter.
Yes. Jacob and I were talking earlier about how things sort of looked and how they went, and I was pointing out that I felt that it was a good game to get a lot of our players into the mix, people coming in off the bench, getting some experience, but maybe bolstering some confidence. Is that how you kind of saw it, Mr. Brandt and Jacob?
Yeah, for sure. As I said, the bad weather and all, just getting back in the gym, getting back together. That's a game where you just got to get everybody involved, get everybody, as you said, confidence. Move the ball around, get the best shot you can.
No question about that. Just one more question that I was going to put forth here. By the way, we are still in the trial phase of fine-tuning our podcast, which hopefully will extend itself into different forms and report on the activities within our school. But I was going to ask Coach Brandt his feelings about, because possibly our audience doesn't have much awareness of it, but the 3-class system, is that now to a vote with the North Dakota High School Activities Association?
Well, it did pass the membership schools, and they had a lengthy meeting several weeks back regarding the adoption. And there was hope of some schools to adopt for next year, and it appears that the next meeting is in February. And I would guess at that point it's going to be too late for a 23-24 adoption. So I think the goal of the committee at this point is for a 24-25 adoption. And whether that's in the current form that's presented of 74 small schools, 31 middle class, and 19 large, I don't know if that'll stay that way, if those numbers will shift. Still a lot of work for those individuals to do in order to make that a reality for 24-25.
Yes, I'm sure implementing things takes considerably more time than just, hey, we're going to do this next year. All right. Other than that, things. All right. Again, to wrap up our preview, just like to put things into perspective in terms of the most recent Class B basketball poll as of December 19th. No surprise at number 1. It seems like, I don't know if it's in my head or what, but Four Winds Minnewacan, they're at number 1 in terms of the rankings. So they've got another good outfit put together. Central Cass, you can pretty much always see that particular organization toward the top of things. Bishop Ryan, no surprise there, otherwise known as Minot Ryan, done very well in Class B. Thompson at number 4, of course, a close rival of ours. Shiloh Christian is a common name of a school that we would see. Bowman County, I think they've had some success. Grafton is there at number 7. Number 8, North Border, we talked about them. Des Lacs Burlington, which is not very far out of Minot, getting 36 votes and putting them in number 9. And the 10th is North Star, who had some real success several years back. Looks like they're cycling into a better place as of recently. And Hillsborough Central Valley does have some votes, and we also look forward to cracking that top 10 just as soon as possible. Just wanted to mention Landon Olson, who is responsible for the many hours of getting our set created here, and we're still working on sound. That's been our biggest thing, to transfer that. But on the basketball team, Landon has been instrumental, especially under the basket. The work that he's been doing under there has been outstanding. And Jacob, the two These are two CV boys who are really contributing on varsity, and we like to talk about the kids in our school because we know them well, and we look forward to great things from Hillsborough Central Valley Borough Basketball. For CVTV, where school is always cool, this is Mr. Fikert signing off.